The Bride of the Cursed Lake. Chapter 13. The Breaking of the Curse. Part 3. I stood before the altar, the two hearts cradled in my hands. They still beat. Slow, reluctant, but alive. I placed them on the stone. Lilith's on the left, Jenkins's on the right. The sky above was the color of a healing bruise, the first hints of dawn breaking through the mist. The ancient stones seemed to bow around me, silent in their vigil, but utterly indifferent. The fog thickened, curling low across the ground, veiling everything in a pale shroud. The grass beneath my feet was slick with the blood. My heart pounded, uncertain whether it would endure what was to come. I remembered the words Lilith had spoken. They twisted through my mind, aching to be spoken, desperate to be released. I cut my palm in a single motion. The pain was immediate, sharp but necessary. I sprinkled the hearts with my blood. It sizzled on them in the morning chill. The ritual had begun. The wind began swirling through the circle. The stones vibrated, a basso groan building from the earth itself. The mist thickened, rising up my legs, wrapping the altar in a veil of white. The sky flickered. I heard the lake, not the slap of water against shore, but a howl, low and guttural, the sound of a world coming unseamed. I spoke the first line. The words landed heavy on the stones. The second line, and the wind surged so violently I could barely see what was in front of me. The third line, and the hearts trembled on the altar, pulsing faster as if awakened. The fourth line. The mist swallowed everything, veiling the last shapes still visible, until even they dissolved from me. The last line, and the world went dark. I woke in silence, sprawled on the forest floor. The stone circle was ruined. Monoliths toppled, altar cracked down the middle. The grass was scorched black, the ash from Lilith's circle blown away to nothing. The air tasted clean, thin, like the hour after a storm. I checked my chest for feathers, my arms, my face. Nothing but skin. My skin, my body untouched by the curse, whole at last. The hearts were gone. So were the bodies. So was the knife. For a moment, I could not remember my name. For a long moment I lay still, gathering what strength I had left. Then, with a groan and shaking limbs, I rose and began to stumble through the woods, dragging myself toward the lake. I reached the lake just as the sun broke the horizon. The water was flat, untroubled. The far shore was shrouded in early light, swans already gliding through the reeds. I called her name, once, twice, and felt the sound vanish, swallowed by the water, as if it had never been. Then I saw her, Anna. She lay at the edge of the shore, curled in the reeds, naked and shivering. Her skin was pale, almost ghostly, the lifeless white of a corpse, but it was skin, not feathers. I dropped to my knees beside her, heart roaring in my chest. Without thinking, I tore off my coat, wrapped it around her trembling body, and pulled her into my arms, trying to press warmth back into her bones. She was so cold, but she was alive. She was breathing. Her hair clung to her cheeks in wet strands. Her eyes were still closed, lashes crusted with frozen lake water. And then, as the first rays of morning touched her face, she stirred, flinching from the light, her brow tightening in effort. Slowly, her eyes opened. She looked at me, not through me, not past me, at me. "James," she whispered. Her lips barely moved. "Is it over?" I nodded, my own voice lost. I gently stroked her head, brushing the damp strands from her brow. Her hands reached for mine, fingers twining. Unsure, but insistent. We sat there, the two of us, tangled in coat and memory, the lake silent behind us. "Did you see me?" I asked finally. "Did you hear me?" Her smile was a fracture, but it held. "Every time," she said. "Every word." We stayed like that until the mist burned away. Time passed. What had happened to us faded like a terrible dream. We returned to the same cottage, to the same village. This place, once full of shadows and silence, became our home. We never spoke of the curse or the hearts and the sacrifices made, nor of that moment during the ritual when the wind screamed so loud I thought the world would split. Some wounds cannot be mapped, even when they heal. The village stirred back to life slowly, like someone waking from a long, uneasy dream. No one came to our door. No one asked questions. But now and then, a child would pause by the lake, head tilted, listening to something only they could hear. A mother might stop mid-step, her eyes catching on the stillness of the reeds. And sometimes, when the wind grew soft and uncertain, a single white feather would drift down from a cloudless sky and vanish before it touched the ground. But the lake kept its peace, and we carried the silence with us. It was not a burden. It was the cost of return. I still wake sometimes before dawn, heart racing, convinced I am about to change. But every morning, I find only my own body and Anna's breath slow beside me. If you ask the village about the curse now, they'll tell you it never existed. They'll say that the lake was always just a lake, the swans just birds, the chapel just a building of stone. But I remember Anna remembers, and the lake remembers too, keeping its secrets. This is not a story of triumph. It is a story of love and separation, of the kind of love that breaks, and the kind that lives on, of the silence that follows, and the lives we build in defiance of it. Now the lake is silent, but we will remember.